What's up, everybody? How you doing? It's a bit later of an episode of Chat and Draw, but we're here today. Want to make sure we can accommodate everybody and the work schedules so we can get all the guests and awesome guests that we have on here to talk about comics. So let's get into this real quick. For those of you that are new to the show or whatnot, what is Chat and Draw? It's a show where I chat and I draw. I bring on some pretty freaking cool creators, and we come on here. I draw their character. We talk about said characters. And sometimes I bring on a fan, and we talk about their fandom and why they love that character so much. That's a Patreon exclusive, so go check out my Patreon, which is blinking down there at the bottom. Now, you're probably like, if you're new to the show, who am I? Oh, I'm Mike Watson. I'm the publisher of Short Fuse Media Group, founder of Freestyle Comics, one half of the good, the bad, and the nerdy, the most enthusiastic person in comics, sometimes going by the name of the Superman brother. So that's who I am. That's what I do. And I draw and I chat, and that's the things that are all about this show. It's all encompassing. We've had some really, really great people on here this season. We're coming to a close on our second season, and I got a couple tricks for you for the last couple episodes or whatnot. Travis Gibbs will be on here this following Monday. Yeah, Monday, Travis Gibbs will be on here. We'll be talking. We'll be dishing and talking and stuff like that, and all that good jazzy stuff. Now, anytime during the show, if you got any questions, comments, or anything like that, please put them on there so we can acknowledge them and talk to them and then have you engaging with our guests. We are going to be streaming, or we are streaming, on the Short Fuse Facebook page. So if you have not liked that page, go ahead and give us a click and a like. We like it when you do that. If you're following on Twitch for the first time, follow my Twitch page. I do all types of stuff like this all of the time. Now, I got to read a really dope comic book with a really dope character, and I'm excited about drawing him. It's going to be a bit challenging, I think, because I haven't figured out in my head what exactly I want, what position and stuff I want to put him in. Doomsmith Art, what's up, man? How you doing? Daniel, what's up? Also, shout out Daniel Calvin, hitting his Kickstarter goal, over $5,000, hitting all of his stretch goals on the American Dream Kickstarter. It's done. It's a wrap. It's done. Sean Mack is already in the office beginning that whole process of delivering, because that's what we do. We always deliver, right? All right. So without further ado, let me bring on my guests. Let's get into it. Please, comments and all that jazzy stuff. And if you guys can, give us a share. Let's get more people out here listening to this whole Jazzy Day thing. And here we go.
Here comes a new challenger.
Oh, yes. I got all three of you in there. There we go. All right.
Hey.
So I got Milton, Jason, and Andre.
Yep.
All right.
Yep.
There we go. All right. Good to meet you guys. Jason, I already know. We go back a little ways. We've run into each other a few different times on this thing that we call the comic book streets. But I am meeting you all for the first time. So tell us a little bit about yourselves. Let's start off with Milton.
Oh, hey, I'm Milton Davis. I am an author and a publisher. I write science fiction and fantasy based on African American culture and tradition. And I own a publishing company called MV Media, where I publish my own works as well as books by other authors as well.
Got a little blacked out screen right there. All right, I'm going to bring him down. Let's go with Jason. Go ahead, Jason.
Hey. I'm Jason Reeves of 133 Art, of 133 Art Publishing, of big distro, and I make comics, man. That's what I do. I draw, or if you want to be fancy, I illustrate, write, conceive of all these spectacular superheroic kind of things. So that's what I do. That's who I am.
We always want to be fancy, Jason.
Every time.
Every time. Every time. All right, it looks like Andrew's having a little bit of some tech issues. As soon as he pops back in, I'll bring him up. Oh, wait, I think we got him. Andrew, go ahead and introduce yourself to everybody. Hey, Andrew, can you hear us? Andre, can you hear us? Oh, I think we got him. I'm going to give him a second to get himself together. Once he gets situated, bring him back out. All right, so.
Right.
Now, I know Jason's out here. Like I said, I know he out here in these comic book streets, man. I know he pushing his paper, staples. All right? He's working with some good friends of mine on some pretty domineering titles. But Milton, tell me about you and your comic history, man. What's up? What's going on with you and yours?
My comic history is very shallow. It actually, I mean, honestly, Changa and the Jade Obelisk is actually the second thing that I've done that's comic related. A few years ago, I did a graphic novel with Chris Mosby called The Blood Seekers, which is based on a story that I wrote about a character named Shange and Mijoga. And it was kind of a spontaneous project. It was something that we hadn't planned. Chris drew some pictures. I wrote a story. The next thing you know, Chris started doing pages, and then we had a graphic novel. But the project I did with Jason and with the rest of the team was premeditated. It was planned. I wanted to do Changa. I wanted to see a Changa comic book. And I spent a few months trying to figure out how to do it. And I said, why am I trying to reinvent the wheel? Jason is doing this. Jason is killing this. So let me go to Jason and say, hey, Jason, do you want to do this? And Jason said, yeah, let's do it. So that's how it happened. So this is my sophomore.
Okay, let's get this paper.
Let's get this paper.
Exactly.
Let's get this paper.
All right.
I mean, Changa was like really cool. It's a really cool novel that Milton writes, and I had been seeing it on Facebook forever, and I was like, man, what is that? What is this doing? And when he came to me, I was like, he had just finished advertising like the Before the Safari, and Kanan Whitehead did like a lot of concept art and the cover for that thing, and I was like, oh no, I want to be on board. I was already jealous, so I was ready to jump in and do that.
What's up, sis? Moana's in the building as well. Shout out to Haley. And real quick, Most Epic Art Patreon page. I want to give a shout out to my Patreons, Andrew Duggan, Haley Dennis, Bradley Arney, Tom Kelly, and Unlikely Heroes Studios. Thank you for being Patreon members. And I will be getting on your Patreon rewards for that digital this weekend. So you guys will be able to tune in and see that. And I think Andre is coming back. Just waiting for him. Oh, looks like he's moving. Andre, you with us?
There he is.
Yep, I see him.
He was moving. I promise y'all he was moving.
Well,
Andre, if you
he's
can
so
hear
gorgeous, don't you agree?
Well, he's a good looking man. Andre, if you can hear me, as soon as you come back and as soon as you're able to talk, just jump in, man, and we'll shut up so you can start speaking. All right. So how does this character come about? Like, where does he come from? Is it inspired by anything? Is it just like it just came from your gut? Like, what's the process of creating this character, bringing it to novel, and taking it to the comic book? What's up, Morgan?
Well, I was a big Conan fan back in the day, and like anybody that black that's reading Conan, you get into it a little bit, but you realize that characters are not there for you. And I wanted to see something that was kind of a reflection of me and my culture, and so that's why I wanted to create a character like that. But I didn't want it to be like Conan exactly. So what I was looking at, also I'm a big history buff, a history nut. So I wanted to write something that was going to kind of like give people a little background on different aspects of African history. And I chose the Swahili coast because it was a part of Africa that had contact with all parts of the world during that time. So Changa, I wanted him to be a fighter, but I didn't want him to be a brooding person walking around the world, making all these deep comments about the conditions of man. So I created a character. Basically, the way I kind of describe him is that Changa's like Conan with a job. He's a merchant. He's a merchant. The reason that he's traveling is because he was actually a deposed prince. His father was killed by a sorcerer that took over his kingdom, and Changa had been kind of on the run most of his life. Finally settled in Mombasa in the Swahili coast, and he decided he was going to be a merchant and raise this money and this wealth to be able to. His initial thing was to be able to raise an army and go back to his homeland and take his homeland back from this sorcerer Ushenge. So the whole series is basically each book is like 3 novellas, and each one is a different adventure where Changa's traveling to these different parts of the world and with Panya and the Tuareg, and they're having these different adventures, and it eventually ends up back in Changa's homeland. He goes home, but not the way he had planned on going home. So it's like a 10 story series, three books that have 3 stories in it. Then the last one, which is Son of Mfumu, and then there's a little prequel collection that I let out called Before the Safari, which I basically did just to give me some time to think about what the novel is going to be about. But but that's basically it.
All right. Okay. So how do we go through the process of taking it from? I like where you're talking about. You wanted a Conan, something like Conan, but you didn't feel like we were representing it enough in it. And I get that feeling watching movies, and I'm sure a lot of people do as well. Like, damn, this is cool, but I wish I saw 1 or 2 of me in there, throwing out with some action. My wife and I are watching Curse right now, and AB, it's a terrible ass show, but it's pretty dang diverse. There's a lot of color, a lot of people of color in there. They're trash, the way they're portrayed, but they're in there. Like, so that problem you have with Conan is not with this show. So there's been some steps, not no upward steps, but there's some steps. So I got to get. Has this book been launched yet?
The comic book is launched. It's out there and out in the streets now.
Okay, all right.
Just chilling, man. We did a Kickstarter for it in I want to say February. Was that February? No.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah.
See, man.
And it was successful. And after we created a project, then we put it on our respective sites. So it's available now in 2 forms. You can get the standard version with just the story bare bones, and that's $4.99, or you can get the deluxe version, which has some of the extra pages we did as a stretch goal for the Kickstarter, and it comes in at $9.99. But it's on the MV Media site and the 133 Art site as well. So it's out, it's live,
and you can get it right here at those links right there. So can you guys talk to me about the transition of, let me see here, the transition of novel to comic book art wise and things like that? Like, what's that transition like for those of us that don't know how that goes? If you can break that down for us, please.
Yeah, I'll probably let Jason do most of that talking because I basically didn't do anything. I just Jason got the team together. They would do stuff and he would show it to me and I'd say, cool. But he's the master of that. That's why I went to him. So I'll let him talk about that.
Okay. So I essentially just kind of art directed the project, which I guess was not really it wasn't a small feat, but it was fun. So I first had to read Changa and kind of get a feel of who the character was, and he really like felt to me like a character that's very similar to Mbogo in Black Panther. Like it was just this big kind of hulking cat who is good with his hands, but also who has just this charisma of a leader. With that in mind, I was like, I need to get an art team on this thing, and I really was feeling the Mind to Avenge book from Robert Jeffrey and Matteo Illuminati and Loris Ravina. And I was like, yo, that's a good looking book. And Matteo is wild with the art. And I wanted to work with them for a long time. And I said, this is a good project. I felt like Changa needed a kinetic kind of style to go into it. And Matteo is very kinetic in a way that's like anime, but it's not like he's aping anime, you know? Like it's very it reminds me of all the good cartoons, you know what I'm saying? So I was like, yo, let's get this dude on there. So I talked to Mateo, I talked to Robert, who is just an amazing writer, Robert Jeffrey II. And we had already worked together on Retcon, my other my sci-fi comic that we do at 133 Art. And Robert is always killing it.
Hey, that's
dude
right.
is about to win like 10.
Don't be afraid to name drop, baby. Drop some bars. Don't be afraid to name drop.
Oh no, no, man. That's the man. Yo, he about to win like 10 Glyph Awards. This dude is insane right now. But anyway, back to what I did. So I talked to Robert and I was like, dude, you want to come in this project with me, man? We need somebody with your skill, especially the way you write action adventure, Black-centered stories. It has a historical vibe. Can you kick that for me? And he was like, yeah. He was super game. So we brought in Mateo, we brought in Robert, and Loris came in, and Loris is like our secret weapon on this thing, because not only can Loris color like nobody's business, but Loris can letter. Loris actually letters and colors the book, and his letters are just as gorgeous as his colors. What I started doing when I label 1-3 art books now is I label it color art, line art, color art, and letter art, because the letters are an art in and of themselves. The color are art in and of themselves. You know what I'm saying? So we're giving credit to everybody in a way that I feel like they haven't normally done in the comic industry. And that's because these guys are working super hard for this thing. They're making it absolutely gorgeous. So I guess to say the adaptation, when you think of adaptation, you want to catch the essence of the book. There's a lot of travel going on in Changa. We wanted to make his ship the Sindibata. We want to make that a character in and of itself. If Changa was Batman, the Sindibata is the Batmobile. That's his ship. Okay. These guys riding back and forth in that thing, chasing villains and riding up on adventure. And it's like a really fast ship. You know what I'm saying? So we had to have people that can portray that in the way that they need it. This is not your slow Sinbad Pirates of the Caribbean kind of thing, man. This is a kinetic story with larger than life characters. So we got a perfect team to display that. And if you check out the book, and you'll see how fast paced it is. That's one of the major things that we wanted to get through in the art and in the writing.
Hey, it ain't a game. All right. So let me go ahead and say a couple of things. So you sent this to me. I'm very happy. I appreciate it. Thank you for giving me the voyage on this. Production quality through the roof. All right, through the roof. And this, just scanning the surface of it, I'm loving the layouts, the colors, the arrangement, the post production work, all that stuff popping immediately on par with any mainstream comic book out there right now. I'll put it next to anything.
Right.
All right. Your man is bad. I love his attitude, and I'm really getting the charisma from him. As you're saying, the way that he carries himself, and I like that he's just not the. I dug that he was like, I'm not trying to help nobody. Like, I don't know who that fool is. So you're just gonna believe him because he ran up and asked for help? That could be a drugs, anything. He could be a criminal. He need help from the police. I'm not gonna help him. I'm out here minding my own business.
Absolutely. You don't know that, man.
I don't know that, man. But I thought that was really dope.
So like
nice twist.
The difference. So in translating this in the translation and in the writing in general, because Milton is amazing as a writer. You're talking about the black characters in Curse. The reason why Achanga might resonate more is because we go out of our way to make him feel like a real person that you know. You know what I'm saying? Like, the benefit of being a black person that hasn't seen themselves on screen as much as they should is that you have a hunger to write people that act like you and that feel three-dimensional, right? So yeah, you know people. You might be like that. Man, I don't know the dude, man. We're not helping this cat. Like, we here to collect supplies and get out of here, you know? So that's another thing that Milton and Robert and Mateo and Loris and, you know, myself are, I think, great at just putting ourselves on the page in a full manner, you know, in a 3D, you know, three-dimensional kind of manner.
Yeah, that's one of the things that I liked about the book too, because when people read the book and the novel, they talked about how Changa felt like somebody that they knew, somebody they could hang out with. And the fact that Robert and Mateo and, like I said, Lawrence were able to capture that and put that in the book as well. You know, I'll be totally honest. When I was thinking about the book, I had that old school mentality. I was thinking about, you know, the old Savage Source of Conan type books and stuff like that. And I was thinking that was the kind of artwork we were going to get. But then Jason started hitting me with the pages. And for a minute, I was like, oh, wait a minute. I was like, this is not what I was expecting, but it's actually better than what I was expecting, you know. So, because you know, I'm old school. I'm thinking old school. It's like the difference between seeing something about like the guy who did the old Sinbad movies with the claymation and stuff like that, and then seeing what people were doing now. I was like in the claymation mindset, but what I got was what was created was something that was, to me, was much more advanced and really captured the whole essence of what is going on now. It's still old, but it has a contemporary feel to it.
Hey, I love it. Really enjoyed it, and you guys are kicking out a lot of good knowledge here. I'm loving hearing how you're putting this together, and I really appreciate and respect people that give a lot of attention to detail. The art's good, the story's good. I'm loving the character, but like as a publisher, as an editor, I'm loving the layout of the whole design of the book, the title page, the you know, hold up, I'm not gonna show nobody because y'all got to buy it. All right, y'all can. I might show you the cover, but the rest of y'all got to buy it. I'm gonna go pick up my copy after the show, whatever. But the title font for the name, love it. Love the design of it. Love where you guys have put the actual #1 issue of it on there and your logo down at the bottom. I'm just impressed with the graphic design of it. I'm normally not a fan of putting the inside cover back on the inside for the title page and whatnot, and you guys did it, and I love it. I love just that simple monotone, two tones of the blue. The layout, the formatting, you know, social media is all in here. Man, somebody pick these guys up, man. Go ahead and cut these guys a check. But my second favorite thing is your man's page layouts. The way he does panel breaks. Gorgeous. Love them. Absolutely. Right. I think, I mean, there's a lot of good things. I like that double page spread. But I think the first page is my absolute favorite page in here. Just the intensity of the run, the focus on the feet, the hands, the eyes looking back. And then there's this little subtle thing of the birds flapping in the sky that bring you into that last panel that pull you down. Man, shut up. That's design, baby.
Yo. I'll put him up against any mainstream quote unquote artist today, right now. Like I threw money on that. He's the man.
Hey, I'm with you on that one. Let's see if we got any more comments here. Moana's got hers. She's waiting for hers to come in the mail. Brad said I ordered their One Nation books earlier today. Brad's a big consumer of indie books, man. Sean Mack in the building, man.
Appreciate you. Appreciate you, Brad.
I missed out on several 133 art Kickstarters, and that's the thing too, man. Because I didn't even know you guys had a Kickstarter going. I didn't see it one time on any of my Facebook timelines. That kind of pisses me off. I went to order Changa on the 133 art site, and it was only available as a pre-order. Then I saw it listed on Milton's latest Kickstarter. So two birds, one stone, heading to the site for some other titles this weekend, though. All right. All right. We got a question from Haley. Haley says, how did you work with paring the story down to get the illustrations you wanted?
Robert would be great to answer that. But if I had to answer for him, we talked a little bit about, like I was saying, making the pace of the story move really fast. And I think once we kind of groomed a lot of the sailing parts a little bit, like some of those might have been trimmed. And there's especially some stuff in the second issue where they're docking that need to be modified to keep the pace going. Robert is really good at figuring out where to cut. And once you figure out where to cut or what to modify, then you go in and you can pick your shots. You can pick what art you want. And then we put in the script, but then we let Mateo pick, be the cinematographer for that. Like every piece of art, like every shot or scene you're looking at in the book, that's Mateo, just saying, this is an upshot, you know what I'm saying? This is a mid shot. There's going to be speed lines here. Like all of that is Mateo figuring out the pacing he wants for the drawing. Now, as an art director, I might come in and say, you know what? Let's say there's one page in there. That's a really ridiculous splash page. And it was a panel on another page. And I say, you know what? This needs to breathe. So I'll take that out. It's a scene after a big fight. I'll take that out and I'll make that its own splash page just to give it some room to breathe. And once you buy the book, you'll see that particular page talking about. I think it's page 17. And it really, after the fight, it really stops the fight and puts the exclamation point on it, So you just have to pick your spots, I think. And once the writer Robert comes in and figures out what the script is going to be, we let Mateo go out. I hope that rambling helped.
I like that. That. That's what's up. That definitely works. That's what's up. Let's see what else we got. Victor Dandridge in the building saying Reeves is a dope graphic designer, man. Let's get that out there.
I do what I can. I do whatever.
Crossing is the next one. Sean says the crossing is the next one he has in his eyes on. And Robert Jeffries in the building, everybody. What's up, Robert?
All right, Robert.
Hey.
Robert.
Hey. I was just big upping you, making you look good.
Hey, he heard his ears was burning, man, so he jumped right over to this link. Let's go. All right, so I've been kind of getting lost in the drawing I'm making here as well, but trying to keep up.
Yeah, it's looking good.
Yeah.
Thank you. How close to the design, or I guess this is a question more for Milton, and then Jason, you can follow up. How close is it from your image of Changa from the novel to the comic book did we come? Is it an exact representation? Did you guys cut some things? Or did you go in a different direction completely for the comic book version?
When I first wrote Changa, I'll be honest, one of the people that I had in mind as I saw as the person that would be a model for Changa was Michael Clark Duncan.
Okay.
He was the first person that I thought about when I was thinking about Changa, because at the time he was doing movies, he was more like the sidekick, that kind of thing. And I was like, I said, a brother like this really needs a movie that would probably feature him. And then I thought about, I said, if Changa was ever to become a movie, I would want him to play it. Later on, after he passed away, unfortunately, I started thinking about Michael Jai White. And because I think he had the fighting skills and the body build and stuff like that I thought would match Changa. So but now here we are in 2020, 2020, and so that's when my whole focus changed, and actually Jason got me looking at it more. We started looking at Winston Duke, because again, that brother, he had that presence and stuff like that, and plus I think he has the wit that Changa has as well. So I was like, so when they developed it, and I was looking at that, I said, yeah, this would be a perfect Changa right here.
That's what's up, because I was just about to tell you, I could definitely see Michael Jai White saying that line of, "I'm not helping him." Who, you don't know who it is. But then you say, then you say my other boy, yeah. I'm like, yeah, he can do that too. And then I see that all in him, man. That's what's up. That's a good fit.
Yep.
The photo reference I gave to you was Michael Jai White, Winston Duke. I was real inspired by M'Baku, man. I was like, that feels like what Changa feels like to me. So I was like, yeah, let's model him after the big, strong, charismatic black actors that we love, And Changa has that charisma, man. Like, y'all haven't read all of the stuff I've read about Changa. Like, there's one thing I really would love to see. Changa is fighting. I don't want to spoil it, but Changa is fighting like this animal, and it's like in the middle of the night.
Yeah,
it's crazy. Like, it's some crazy stuff. So you know what I'm talking about?
I know what you're talking about.
I feel like I really want to see Mateo like bring that out, man. It's like dark. It's like in a cave. It's so we need somebody with some presence that can say, you'll go no further, animal, whatever, whatever Changa says in that scene. But no, man, we wanted him to be charismatic, but we wanted him to look like he can handle himself. Like, you don't want to mess with this cat.
Yep.
Absolutely, because I'm having fun with your boy right here. This is my favorite part of the show. Listening to you guys talk about the character and describe him, give us like these intimate details of him, and then it just comes out like over me while I'm drawing the character. I freaking enjoy that so very much. It's not like thank you, Jason. It's like completely different from somebody coming to order a commission from me saying, "Hey man, I want you to draw Wolverine." Da 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 da. And I go home and draw it. But like, we're sitting there having a full like tea and crumpets conversation about this dude. Like, you're throwing out these little tidbits that I just wouldn't have or know about as a commission artist.
Yep.
Absolutely. I don't see how you do it. Like, I get so nervous when I have to draw on camera. Like, that's impressive.
Conventions, the things that have died this year. Tons of practice at comic book conventions, and I was kind of like this in high school. I went to an art high school, and I shit you not, we were literally just like that art school fame or whatever. We literally carried our sketchbooks around, and we battled each other like every day, and but you had to be ready. You could be in the art room, you could be in social studies, and if the teacher's not there or like late or whatever, somebody would be like, "I'll call you out," and they'll flip out their sketchbook, and it didn't matter who, it was anybody would just step up and be the referee immediately because they knew what to do, and they would just ref the match.
Right,
we would have to freestyle something off the top of our head without any reference and just draw it, and like we did that all the time.
Oh, cool! That's nice right there. I like that.
we used to do something similar, except we would talk about each other in the drawings. You know what I'm saying? Like, you would draw, like if somebody had a bowl cut, that's what you would flame on them with that bowl cut, and whoever had the coldest flame drawing, that's one to do. You know, like we used to do
Okay,
that.
that's what's up.
Yeah.
I remember, like, I got a little cocky. I was a cocky little kid in high school. I had won a bunch of battles, and I didn't like my art teacher, and he was talking all that junk, and I called him out. I said, "Let's battle then," and he knew that was a little thing that we did, and needless to say, he messed me up, but but you know.
I was in Spanish. I was like, we win.
No. He definitely has a degree for a reason. You know what I'm saying? But that's how our school got down, man. So all that stuff is like just fun motivation, and I don't know if you guys really saw. Victor and I got into it a couple weeks ago on Facebook. We had our own little scribble war that was going back and forth, and I tell you, that was thrillingly fun. I learned so much battling Vic online.
Vic got pencil skills like that, huh? I see you, Vic.
Oh no, Vic got pencil skills, but see what makes Victor also dangerous on top of the fact, so he can, of course, he can draw, but he's clever as hell, man. He's clever. You don't know what Victor's going to do. Like I by the skin of my teeth, like literally end of the movie Somatics, I beat him, like, and pulled it out like by the skin of my teeth. And if I wasn't thinking, I would have lost. But together, Vic and I drew like 24 pages of comic book work in 3 days.
Oh wow!
Wow. Yeah. So we really got it in, man. It was super fun, and Vic helped me grow in those 3 days, and we learned a lot about our art game during that whole situation. So I love it. So just drawing online and stuff, and drawing at comic book conventions, drawing in front of people, it's nothing to me.
I can dig it. Nah, man, I'm jealous. I get in front of the camera with the pencil. I mean, I've done it, but it is so crazy. I'm sweating, I'm nervous. I'm like, oh, I don't know what the line is, you know. I respect it.
No, I definitely feel you, man. But the more you do it, the more you get used to it. So don't quit. Keep it going.
I can dig it.
Yo, I'm really feeling your dude right now, man. He's out here. This is not a man I want to see on the battlefield. Like, I'm turning around. Like, oh, it's not Changa, man. I'm gonna go fuck with Peter. Peter over there. He got the twigs, but not Changa.
Yeah, that's probably a good idea. When you look in the back of the first of the deluxe edition, we have like origin stories for each character, and we tell the origin story of Changa. And we talk about how, you know, he had to flee his homeland, and one of the most significant parts in his life was when he was fighting in the pits of Mogadishu. And at the time he was known as Mbogo, and Mbogo is Swahili for the bull. And he was known for, you know, he was undefeated at the time when he was fighting in the pits. And actually that's where he met the Tuareg in the pits as well. That's actually one of my favorite stories in Before the Safari, where Changa meets the Tuareg in the pit. So yeah, you don't want to fight. You don't want to fight, my boy.
He's the man, hand to hand. Yeah, Jarmel Black Art Williams did a pinup of Changa in the back. Actually, that pinup's in the back of both editions, and he killed it. And it like captures the essence of his pit fighting, sort of his prior life as a pit fighter, right? Like he's wiping the blood from his nose, and you know, it's like he just got back up. Like the pinup is amazing. And Jarmel killed it. He absolutely captured what it is to have Changa in the fighting pits, man. Like Changa is a fun character to draw. I mean, you're witnessing that right now. I did a cover. I did one cover for the book, man, and I had I you know, running 133 art and the various entities and trying to find time to draw these days is very hard. But man, I had such a good time drawing that. I did it over the course of a couple of days, and I sketched it out first. Man, Changa is just a cool character to draw. Like, a lot of people really like doing Luke Cage, and they're very ecstatic when they get to draw that cat. And I'm like, this must be what it feels like. When I was drawing Changa, I was like, this must be what John Jennings was talking about when he's drawing Luke Cage. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, man. Absolutely, absolutely. There's just those characters that, and it's not even like sometimes for me, it's not even their design. It is the way that character carries himself. If they're written well, if they're written by the right person, you're like, dude, I just can't wait. Like on last night's episode, I drew a damn teddy bear, and as they were talking about the teddy bear, like it's a cool little story that they're doing. But it's like, so the teddy bears in your house protects your kids' souls from these demons from underneath the bed. And one of the kids' souls gets stolen, and the teddy bears and the other kids go under the bed to go save it. But one of the teddy bears, who's got a heart on his chest and is real, pink and fluffy and all cute and shit. Well, he got anger issues. Like he don't like nobody. Like he's rude. And so as they're talking to him, like I just thought, well, this is just the Wolverine of teddy bears. So I've got him running at the screen Wolverine style, and like I never thought I'd say I was having fun drawing a teddy bear.
Wow,
that's a dope concept for a story, man. Like that's dope.
Yeah, man. Like
the teddy bears protect you from the monsters under the bed.
Hey,
I like that.
I don't. Me personally, I don't like to use the indie title or whatever. I think it comes with a negative connotation of saying that we're comic books, but we're not the same as mainstream books or whatnot. But these indies be out here thinking though with their ideas. They really be outside the box. I would have never put something together like that. I think Veronica and Nick are on chapter 5. They just wrapped up their Kickstarter for it. But like that's a dope concept. I would have never thought to do that with teddy bears or anything like that. And that's super, super marketable. One thing I want to bring up with you guys, because this bothers me a lot in video games. I'm a big video game head. And absolutely love Horizon Zero Dawn. Spectacular game, full of diversity. And then as I'm playing it, something's bothering me. Same thing with you and Milton and Conan. I'm thinking to myself, why isn't this main character a native or a person of color? Because in this situation, in this world, in the things of, and everybody else is somebody of color, like it just fits. Why did this have to be a Caucasian person or whatnot? Like, I feel like you just stuck it in and then gave us all the rest of these people of color to make us happy.
Right.
But Assassin's Creed, they come out with a game every year on beat, and they personally bother me, and people don't have to agree with me. I don't give a damn, but they personally bother me about how they make a black character or character of color, and they are exclusively the DLC. They're never the main character.
Right.
And I'm like, when are we going to get a story from Assassin's Creed featuring a person of color as the main character, and them go in depth the way that they went in depth here? And like, as soon as I started reading this book and seeing your character, I was like, that's him. Get Assassin's Creed. Yeah, whatever the studio's name is, Assassin's Creed. This is our guy. This is our guy. Because if I see this and I see him on a game cover, I am like, I want to play the out of that, man. Like that's a character I can spend 50, 60 plus hours with and just like have a good time. So yeah, man, good job all around. So now that I'm done fanning the flames of y'all's awesomeness, give me the info on BIC distro.
Okay. Go ahead, Milt. I'm gonna let you feel this one.
Well, I guess it depends on when Jason and I were working on Changa, we were talking about different things about Changa and about the comic book industry in general. We got in the conversation about distribution, and I was like, well, I've been talking a while about how that was the one thing that was missing with Black creators, that we didn't really have this outlet to the bookstores and stuff like that. And we were running our heads up against the wall trying to talk to the powers that be, and they really don't, care that much about us. And I was like, it'd be nice to have something like this. And then Jason said, well, let me tell you about something that that me and Andre have been working on. And so then he told me about this situation that they were talking about. Like they were, Andre had originally come up with an idea of doing bundles, selling stuff in bundles. And they broke it down and said, well, that's expensive. Well, why don't we, do something that will be a distribution that will focus on indie Black creators? And I'm like, yeah, that's exactly what I was thinking about and stuff. So they had already done the work. They were putting the groundwork together. And I'm like, yo, let me get in on this too, because to me that was perfect. That's the missing link that we had as far as creators and getting our stuff out and everything. And that's where Big Distro was born, really.
Okay.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, we want to create we want to fill that hole in the indie part of the industry, especially when it comes to Black indies. We are missing distribution, and we are missing marketing, PR, and we're not. We haven't cracked the marketing egg yet, but we're trying to crack the distribution egg, and it's been going pretty well, man. Like our ideal is to build very slowly. We don't want to, we're not trying to break the bank right now and just build our network, build our network of stores. Hopefully, like barbershops and salons and stuff like that will come in as well, and we'll get our product out into the world. That's like our goal. Our goal is to get stuff like Hot Shot, get stuff like One Nation, get stuff like Changa out to the masses, and not necessarily the mainstream audience. I mean, even though if we get that, we'll take it, but we want to reach the untapped Black markets. The untapped minority markets that aren't necessarily serviced by Marvel and DC. We want to get these particular characters into the hands of people that actually look like them.
Yeah.
I dig it. I dig it.
That's our mission statement.
Yep. Because I've done conventions and stuff, and where it was like not sci-fi and fantasy oriented. A couple of years ago, we did the Auburn Avenue Street Festival here in Atlanta. It's been going on for like 20 years, and this is like basically a Black festival. You go there, you got like tons of people selling African garb, and you got bands playing, you got food all over the place, and about 6 of us got together, and we got a table. We said, well, let's get out here and let's do something that's with a crowd that's not science fiction and fantasy oriented, and it's Black people. And we didn't know how it was going to turn out, but that first day we were out there, we sold like about 60 books, and the majority of the books we sold were people that weren't really into science fiction and fantasy and stuff. They just saw what we had and they got excited about it and they picked it up, and so I think it's a big market for us in that area that's beyond what we normally see. And for them, it doesn't make a difference whether it's DC or Marvel. They just see something good. Right. It's they see themselves in it. We had people, they were like looking at it and they were like, oh, this is great. And when they found out we were the authors, all of a sudden we was on FaceTime and everything like that. People like interviewing us, right, and stuff like that. Right. The excitement and everything about it was like, was like on another level than when we do cons and stuff like that. So, I think Big Distro is kind of part of that, because it's going to get us in those places where we don't have to fight with, the people who are saying, oh man, this doesn't look like, this isn't Batman or this isn't something like that, because these people they don't care about that. Right. They want something good that reflects them,
Right.
That.
Well, right. What I find too, I go to a lot of shows with the mothers of the young kids. They want to get stuff for their kids. They want to get stuff for their teenagers, except they want them to get stuff that sort of that reinforces what they're teaching them at home, reinforces the pride in themselves and in their communities. And we can supply that. Like everybody we know, everybody that we network with or interact with makes comics for minorities, makes comics for Black folks. So we want to fill that particular space, right? And you're right. It doesn't necessarily. We don't have to go into the traditional spaces. We can go again to the places where people are underserved, and they love our stuff when we jump out. Keith and Jones does a Black Comic Books Day every year in San Diego, and that's not your typical comic book audience that passes through that show. And those people buy as many comics as a normal quote unquote comic convention. So that's who we want to reach. We want to reach those folks. We want them to know that, they got Black people out here doing comics.
Yep.
Right.
Yeah, you got it. We got to shout out Keith Cooper down in Baton. Keith has been doing pop-up events, all over Baton Rouge and Lafayette and even going down to New Orleans. And he's carrying all our stuff and he's having a ball with it. He's selling it everywhere and stuff.
The Blurtish pop-up shop. Y'all should look it up.
The barbershops ain't a game, man. I went in there to get my son his first haircut, and the dude remembered that I made comic books. He's like, "Man, you got your books with you?" I was like, "Yeah, man. They in my truck. I keep a case in my trunk." And brought him in there. I had a comparative Friday convention sale day at the barbershop, and it was like out of my books because like everybody in there bought them. Then they walked down to the children's daycare, was telling them the teachers there about it. It was like, oh, he's making comic books and they got Black characters in them. Then y'all should go in and buy. And I went over there and sold more books. So yeah, our community definitely, wants to help and get stuff out there or whatnot. So Vic has always been an advocate for doing movie theaters and stuff like that for comic book releases. I do when COVID. Yeah, when COVID wasn't around, I was going to GameStop and doing a video game release parties, and that was excellent. So hitting places that we don't normally go is to increase that audience, man.
Yeah, absolutely. And so people talk a lot about Tyler Perry, right? Regardless of how you feel about the artistry, proficiency of the movies and the content he creates. One thing he said a little while ago always just resonates with me. He says, "I super serve my audience." And he found that church-going Black audience, and all he does is make things geared towards them. And they've made him very successful. And I think that's what sometimes gets overlooked with us trying to pull in every audience. We almost lose our niche audience, and our niche audience can be just as important, right? Like his audience is not mainstream America necessarily. His audience is church-going Black America, and they have made him very successful because he super serves them, and that resonates with me. That's what I want to do with my career and my endeavors, especially Big Distro and 133 Art. Like, I want to super serve people who want to see Black gods, Black heroes, you know what I'm saying? Black protagonists. That's where I live, and that's what I want to create.
Did you see him say that on Black AF?
Yep. That's what he said.
That's where I saw that, man. And when he said that on there, I immediately I'm never saying shit about Tyler Perry again. He is like, I've always respected, his place where he's at, everything that he's done and whatnot. And I've talked trash about his movies. I mean, the wigs in the last one were terrible. I got on them.
We've all. And a lot of it's apropos.
Right. But when he said that and he spoke in that whole scene, I was like, this isn't acting. This is him. This is what he said. Trust me, I know what I'm going to say. And I that really struck a chord with me. And I think it was a really important message. So like it chimes exactly with what you're talking about, man. I thought that was dope.
Yeah, I've always admired that about him. I mean, it's business 101. You find your audience and you service your audience, and it doesn't matter to him what everybody else says about what he does. Because the bottom line is that the people that are paying his bills are the people that are going to the movies. His movies. I mean, you can say whatever you want to say about the man's got his own studio. You got actors and actors love him because he's employing them. And the bottom line is that it's really a business model to follow. That's basically what it is. That's one of the reasons that I like to work with Jason so much, because I knew he and I were on the same wavelength about what we wanted to do and what we were trying to accomplish. So it was just, other than the fact that he's a fabulous artist. I mean, I saw this Chonga image he did.
Thank you.
And I've seen his work before, and I even said, "Damn, man, I didn't know you were that good."
Oh man! Oh, shout out to my girl Midori Hana. She's in the building.
Running around with these undercover talents and stuff.
Oh shoot!
Hey. It's like, it's cool to come under the radar, man, and do what people said couldn't be done. Like, even before Black Panther, man, TP was creating that black audience, man, cultivating that black audience. They said it couldn't be done, and he did it with stuff that people don't even, they barely respect. Like, it's almost, to mainstream America, the black church culture is like a joke almost. You know what I'm saying? Like, they don't really respect it in the way that they should. And I'm not like a super Christian. I mean, let me say that. I just respect the idea that he did what they said couldn't be done. To me, that's worthy of the accolades that he has. That and it's inspiring to me, because right now, you guys at Short Fuse, us at 133 Art, Milton, Big Distro, Dedrin, and the fellas at Subsume, we're trying to do what they say can't be done. You know what I'm saying? And that cat, again, regardless of how you feel about the artistry, is a model.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Midori Hana in the building. That's my girl. She's been my Yoda on my voice through the Twitch world, that she's been trying to get me together. Robert Jeffrey, thank you. I did see earlier you said you were enjoying the piece, man, and I appreciate you saying that a lot. I respect your opinion. And Keith is coming here. You can't deny them numbers. Moana says he's a damn boss. Yeah.
Something out of zero, man. Something out of nothing. That's what we all doing. That's what we doing over here,
Yep.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely. And like, that's the hustle, right? That's the thing. We always say, or my little circle of friends always say, there's enough for all of us to eat out here, man. There's enough for everybody to eat.
Yep.
You just got to find the audience that wants to eat your stuff, and you'll be good.
Yep.
Absolutely.
Yep.
Absolutely. Like, man, we have a community here, man, that I feel like, I don't want to say we never had it, because in the 90s, dudes was doing it too. But when I started, like, I came in the game around 2012, like real, like I've been an artist my entire life, and I've been a professional freelancer since 2006. But 2012 is when I was in the black comic game, when I was like, yo, I'm gonna sell comics. And in 2012, man, I didn't see a lot of us. Like, I didn't know you. I didn't know Milton. I didn't know all of the wonderful cats and sisters that we know now. And today in 2020, we have a community, man, and we're building continuously, and there's a lot of friendly competition going on, and it's amazing, man. We what do they say? Iron sharpens iron. We sharpen the hell out of each other right now, man. It's wonderful right now.
Yeah.
And the fact that we can fellowship together and share business models and share ideas and share art and all that shit, man, that's amazing, man. We are on the right track. I'm proud of y'all, motherfuckers.
You about to have a moment, man.
I'm telling you, man, I'm about to tear up, man.
I was just telling John Mack that Ted Sakura is a really dope dude, man. I put out. I'm trying to work on my colors. I want to improve my colors. It's one of my weak points. And I put out there like, hey, anybody want to have a Zoom meeting with me just to critique and give me some feedback on my color work? And Ted was like, hey, man, I will. And we were in a Zoom meeting. He asked me to send him over the inks and the flats. He pulled up the share screen. Bam, 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 bam. 20, 25 minutes just going over stuff with me. Like, just to do it, just because I asked for that help, because I was looking for that assistance, man.
Right.
Vic and I will be next to each other, drawing on the iPads, and he's like, "All right, how'd you do that?" And I'm like, "Click, click, click here," and I'm looking over at what Vic's doing. Like, we're exchanging these ideas because we want each other to be elevated. We want to all be up there. So, I mean, yeah.
I think we don't reach that.
Man, if y'all eat,
They
go
talk
ahead, man.
about in
Do you
business,
think?
you gotta reach that critical mass where you get enough people that are looking at and doing your thing to where it starts to take off, like they say, exponentially. And I think that's where we are. Like Jason was saying, I came into this like in 2008, and all the time you were running into people that were saying, "Man, I thought I was the only one. I thought I was the only one that was into this stuff," And the internet helped bring everybody together. But now you're at that point where so many people are together and so many creators are out there that we're kind of that critical mass, and now people are starting to partner with each other. They're starting to network with each other and stuff, and it's raising everybody's game because now we have access to each other, and we know we're not out there by ourselves, and we know we got an audience out there. Some people, that's all they read is what we do, So that's why it's so exciting right now.
Right. Absolutely. Like that's absolutely it. Like there's some people that just read us. Man, that's crazy. I never thought it was a thing back in the day, and I was talking to a guy recently, a guy I respect, and it was like, what's up with the infight, man? Yo, like people are, is that a thing? And my response was, yo, that's not really a thing. That's like the loudest, the squeaky wheel gets the grease kind of thing. It's loud when it happens, but it's not a thing that happens continuously with us, man. Like, there's no reason. That's why you never see me on the page talking about hating or beef or whatever. Like, I'm joke about it, but I don't. There's no beef coming around the 133 Art way. There's no beef coming around the MV Media way because we don't roll like that. All of that stuff is unnecessary stuff. We have a big community here that's thriving. So that breeds success. That breeds good feelings. You know what I'm saying? Every once in a while there's some rat that comes in and tries to do something, but as you've seen in recent time, we've expelled those entities from the community, and we kept pushing. We keeping it pushing. Like, it's wonderful, man. I'm feeling real good about it. I
can hear it in your voice, brother.
I'm about to pull out the Bible and start thumping on it. Yo, let me tell you about these black comics.
I mean, I'm sad Andre isn't here, man. I'm sad his connection wasn't going through.
Yeah, we love you, Andre. Get well soon. Heal your internet.
All right, so let's talk. I don't think we really touched on the conflict or adversaries that Changa is going to be meeting in this book. Without spoiling anything, what kind of obstacles are you setting up for your man?
Well, the end of the book kind of hints at who they're dealing with in this particular story. All I will say about it is that it's an ancient and powerful entity, and the jade obelisk has a lot to do with what that entity might be or not be able to do, and I'll leave it like that.
Okay. Danny J. Quick would be so disappointed with you right now.
Should I share anything else,
Jason? I must have cut out for a second. What happened? What'd you say?
I said, should I share anything else about Changa's and their nemesis?
Oh man, you can go in a little bit. I mean, I wouldn't go in much, but do what you do. Let's see if you ruined it.
Hold up. Let me hit the right now. just in case.
Spoilers.
I'll tell you this. what's happening in Changa and the Jade Obelisk is something that started like thousands of years before before the point where the story is. Has to do with a struggle between the ancestors and the sorcerers, and a struggle for power between them and the entities, the people that they brought together to fight their wars for them.
Mm-hmm.
Changa's nemesis in this story is related to some of these warriors that were alive, like and fighting in this war thousands of years ago. So, is that enough?
You did good. You did great.
Yeah, I think as people get into the story, they're gonna really. And there's a couple of scenes that I want to see. One was the one in the cave that Jason for. That's one I want to see illustrated. And there was another one which I'll say is a summoning. And
oh yeah, that's my number one favorite scene in the book.
yeah,
Like I can't wait for that.
yeah, I want to see that illustrated, because that was one of my favorite scenes as far as drawing was concerned, and I mean writing was concerned. So I'm really waiting to see that particular scene illustrated. I think that's gonna mess everybody up. That one right that one right there.
Yeah, yeah, that's gonna be crazy.
When we get off the show, y'all go ahead and just tell me. I won't tell you. Y'all at the point right now. Y'all having your own private little conversation on air. Yeah, I can't wait for that. Oh, yeah, because that's what I've been waiting for right there. That one thing that happens at the one thing at the place. Man, we talking about the same one, right?
we sound like the Russo brothers right now, man. I used to hate, like, before Infinity War and Endgame, we'll do interviews and they'd be like, yeah, because when that one thing, I'd be like, oh, I hate y'all.
Yeah,
so that's a good segue. With the recent success of all the comic book movies and films and things like that, and the impact that they've had on our geek hearts, has any of that influenced any of the production that you guys are doing? Has any of that swayed over to you guys? Like, damn, that's a mentality that we need to get like.
From my point of view, I tell you, when I went to see Black Panther, and when friends of mine went to see Black Panther, most of them came back to me and said, "Milton, this is like the books you wrote, you know." And so it's kind of like, you know, I felt like in the indie community, a lot of things that people saw in Black Panther, a lot of things that people enjoyed about Black Panther, especially the way that they worked in the African architecture and stuff like that, and you know, the details like that. A lot of authors were already doing that on the indie end.
Mm-hmm.
And so we were sitting there. As a matter of fact, my wife made me shut up, because I was sitting there saying, "Oh, well, see, they got that building from this culture, and they got that from that." She said, "Will you be quiet and just watch the movie?" So to me, it's kind of like, it's almost like a vindication of, you know, what had been occurring years and years with different authors and different artists and stuff like that, you know. And I think that as we move further down the road, and the main thing is that we saw this on the screen, and the powers that be saw that people liked it and that people were willing to pay money for it and get excited about it. So I think it's opening up a lot of opportunities for other folks who are doing stuff similar to that to get more eyes on them and have more possibilities. Matter of fact, there's one, well, here I'm about to do the Russo thing here. There's one project that I know that's being worked on right now that is somewhat similar to what we're doing with Changa, and it's actually going in that direction. So once I get the word to where I can say something about it, I will. But it's a very exciting project, and it's a direct result because of a Black Panther.
Okay, that's what's up.
That's really what's up. I don't even know what he's talking about.
I'll tell you once we get off the
Okay.
I always wonder about those type of things, because I'm a huge geek, as we all are, and whatnot. And when I got to see, and you know, plot holes be damned. When I got to see that Endgame movie, and you know, it was very powerful for me, man. And when I saw the end result and the patience and the risk they took to get to this destination, to where that movie is the number one movie of all time right now, and it has, again, plot holes be damned, satisfied so many people in a geek way. And I'm like, man, that's like that's the type of emotion and energy and impact I want to have with my books. Like,
Right.
what do I do to get my stuff on this level? I know I'm still trying to build my audience and whatnot, but when I do have that audience, or when someone does pick up my book, I want them to be in there. So when you guys are making comic books, and again, we're doing this stuff out of our own pockets, and we know things happen, life happens, delays, something might get pushed back, an artist might get sick or something like that. We ain't got dental, but we know things don't come out as fast as it does as our mainstream counterparts or whatnot. How does that dictate and control what you necessarily put in your comics? Like, if a book's not out for a while and you're like, well, man, I gotta definitely put some action in this issue because I don't know when the next issue is gonna come out. Or are you still gonna keep to your story, whether it's a quiet issue or an action issue or half and half, no matter what, because you've got a plan? Or are you trying to formulate that based off of when you get the books out, what kind of content you put out?
Hmm. I I have a thing. I feel like it's almost not a comic, and there's exceptions to my own personal rule. So don't add me. But I feel like it's
Ah,
not a comic unless they have an action scene in it. Like for me, every comic needs to have an action scene. I'm like an adrenaline junkie that way. So no, it doesn't. The length of time between issues doesn't necessarily dictate the content of the book for me or for at 133 art. It's always predetermined. It's always starts with the script, with those ideas that we're putting in there. I try not to feel the need to be faster
mhm.
than mainstream comics or than media in general, since everything is so fast, because I know I'm cognizant of the fact that I don't have 100 people working for me. I don't have thousands of people as far as video game development working on one thing. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
So I can only do what I do. I can only do what I'm able to do. And I mean, honestly, weirdly, strangely enough, we've been putting out books a little faster, than we have in the past. And that's because we have so many hungry artists, writers, creators, colorists, letterers, uh, that come into the game and that are ready to work, So it's actually been getting a little better in any case. But I think if you plan properly, which is something I never do, by the way. If you plan properly, you can you can get your books and your Kickstarters, your crowdfunding going at a consistent rate. Um, I say, I know Sean was talking about this. I think that was earlier today or yesterday. He was saying get the
Today.
first arc done. Yeah, it's super smart to do that, and I agree that it's super smart to do that. But I will also say I have never done that, and I've only done I come up with an idea and I'm like, this is gonna be a 6 issue miniseries, and then I go boop boop, and then I'm like, oh, ran out of money, and then I do something else, boop boop, and then I go, oh, now I got to do a crowdfunder. I say consistency and agility is still a thing, even if it's not necessarily consecutive. Keep putting out work. Back in the day, in the comic industry, artists and creators were allowed to build themselves from project to project. They would have longer runs on different books, so you would have an artist like Dan Panosian, who started out. I didn't like his artwork at first. He wasn't so great, but then he grew into the comic industry, and now that dude is a beast. But he had the chance to learn. He had several chances to mess up and be good, and then be great, right? And I think
Right.
we need to allow ourselves as creators, as Black creators, to do the same thing. Our audience is still baking. It's still small right now. So allow yourself the opportunity to mess up just as long as you come back and do better, right? 133 art, man. My book, my baby, One Nation, is supposed to be a 6-issue miniseries, but we have 5 issues of it, but they're broken up. And that's,
Mhm.
the limited capacity of an indie. But I'm not about to beat myself over the head because it didn't happen the way I wanted it to happen. I'm gonna move forward and make it better as I go along, right? Just keep putting out work, and you'll eventually hit an equilibrium where you're better, you're greater, and all of that is learning. Hopefully, you make some money while you're doing it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
I'm not putting pressure on the indies, on the cats, man. I love y'all too much. Don't do that. Don't do that to yourself.
Yeah, you can only do what you can do. Like I said, I'm new to the comic game. Everything that I'm working on from adaptations are based on content that I created years ago. The whole Changa saga has been told, from beginning to end. So it's there. Whenever we can get back to book 2 and book 3 and book 4 and book 5, it's just a matter of picking up a book, flipping the page to it, and doing the adaptation and stuff. So, and that was my whole concept from the beginning of when I started MV Media, was to create content and then take that content and mutate it, I guess, into different forms, into in the comic books, graphic novels, animation, and just build on that content that's already there. And then you have these audiences just feeding on each other. But like Jason said, we're indies, we're small. We can't, sometimes we can't move as fast as other folks. So you just have to be patient with yourself and just do it when you can. That's what it comes down to.
Mm.
Yeah. I mean, I do this full time all day, every day, and I'm not, I'm not breaking damn records with the with the amount I put out. But what I will say is, and I'm sorry to interrupt you, Mike. What I will say is, we want to train our audience to come to us, to come buy from us when we put out work, right? Like a part of being business, a part of ending up being Coke or Pepsi or McDonald's or whoever, you have to train that audience to follow when you do things. You can't. I don't think it's a good idea to let your audience dictate when you do things or how you do things, because you're the artisan, you're the creator, right? Like, go ahead and teach them how to buy your stuff. Teach them how to follow your stuff. I'm a proponent of that way of doing business.
Okay. All right. I hope everyone was taking notes on that. My man was dropping. My guys here were dropping some serious knowledge. Um, that's a conversation that's had a lot, whether it's at FSK or Short Fuse overall, with everybody just making sure that you got to work at your pace. You got to be comfortable with that. And the one thing that you always have to remember is everybody ain't got your number one issue, man. I go to the same cities on my comic book convention tours, and I add new ones to them. But I go to Cleveland. I'm from Cleveland. Hey, 80% of that city ain't got my book, and I move copies. I'm out here. I'm out here selling this book like Tic Tacs. I move them, and 80% of that city ain't got my number one issue. So, I think it's really strong. It's really important to have an audience that understands you and wants to support you and will buy on your schedule, which is a very, very good point. And I don't think I've heard it said like that, and it needs to be said so other creators out here know that. But at the same time, I can flip and spin my number one issue to anybody. You know what I'm saying? Like, keep that boy going. That boy stays in. Hey, that boy stays in rotation. Last 3 years, the number one selling book at my house is a number one issue of Hot Shot or Vigilance. The number one still sell.
Damn.
That's one of the, that's one of the
Let them know.
That's one of the advantages of being indie, because if you were going through a mainstream or something, after a while, when the sales get to a certain point, they pull it. People can't find it anymore. But like you say, my first Chonga number one is still out there. So as people discover my stuff and they say, "Hey man, what's this Chunga thing? I said, it's out there, just order it. You know, return it and stuff,
Right.
you know. So you're always bringing in new customers on that content. You know.
Yeah, dude,
Every
that's
show I
always.
go to, man, people are buying number one. I mean, that's the nature of the game.
Mm-hmm.
It's always going to be your most popular selling book. You know what I'm saying? And you can keep pushing that. We are coming to. Oh wow, we have gentlemen. We have gone a while here. I've had a. I just looked up and saw how much we've been chatting it up. Uh, I, talking to y'all, I really wanted to do your man Changa justice here, so I hope I did.
Oh, that's amazing, man. That's amazing.
Man, look, we should put that in the book, man. So, man, send me that. Send me that. Let me get that colored, yo. Get that number two.
This is yours. Y'all do whatever y'all want with it. I'm gonna send y'all the Google Drive link. Y'all download it. Do whatever y'all want.
Oh man,
That's what's up.
See, I'm not gonna tell everybody this, but the secret part of the show is I draw y'all's characters, and so I hope I do it good enough to where y'all say, "Let me put that shit in the book, man."
we just said it. I'm over here happy as hell. I'm like, God damn.
I'm sitting over here like, I was like, "Hey, they sound pretty impressed. Hey, go ahead and get that Mike Watson in your book."
That Mike Watson on display, yo.
There we go. Hold on, I forgot one of his arm bracelets.
That's really dope, man. That looks great.
Thank you very much, guys. He was super fun to draw and learn about. And in our regular fashion, I'll let the replay play. Tell everybody where they can follow you at, where they can get your stuff. I'll have the link pop up here. Thank you, Robert. I appreciate it. And here goes the playback.
Oh yeah, there you go. Oh, are we supposed to be talking now?
Yeah, just tell them where they can follow you on social media.
Oh, okay. I guess I'll go first. Jason Reeves, that's who I am. I am at 133 Art on all social media, all relevant social media. The hub is 133art.com. The printing service is 133 Art Printing. You can find that at 133art.com, and we offer printing services for comic books. And the distribution service is bigdistro.com. We are not officially taking submissions for creator and publisher books just yet, but we are going to release a submissions guide very, very soon for people to start sending us submissions and stuff. So that's us.
Yeah, well, you can find me. I'm Milton Davis. You can find my website at www.mvmediaatl.com. You can find me on Facebook as Milton Davis. I'm on Instagram at Obadoro. And I also have a author website, which is miltonjdavis.com, but I don't use it that much, so don't expect up-to-date stuff on that. But the best thing to do is go to my website, mvmediaatl.com.
Awesome. All right, so I just got that uploaded to Google Drive. I'll send the link to you guys, and like I said, that's yours to keep and do what you want with it. Mike, I need to recommend for my jobs virtual con if we. Oh yeah, hey, I'm all up for these virtual cons, man. Please reach out to me if you got the room. This was an absolute pleasure, man. Really dig the character and what you guys are talking about with this character. I think it has so much weight and more impact when you know more about it and you know where it comes from. You know that groundwork that goes into it, and you know you can't get this in other markets because you know we're out here letting people in. I think that's the best part about us making comic books. We get to let people get an inside taste of it. And, you know, it's a tease. It's a tease. Thanks, sis. And, you know, it keeps them wanting more. Now, I will – I'm going to keep showing this until everybody sees it. But first season, we did 27 characters on One Piece. And the Chat and Draw art book, Volume 1, is coming. Veronica Smith, who is our in-house FSK colorist. She's the lead colorist for FSK. She finished the colors on it on this massive beast. So I am premiering it on the show because she killed it. Absolutely, she killed it. And there it is.
Nice.
So
that's what's up.
Yep.
yeah, she did her dang thing. It took me 2 days to draw it, and then on the season finale of Chat and Draw season 1, I was on here for 4.5 hours inking it live with a slew of guests and things like that. So sad to say, I'm not adding this many characters to season 2. All right, I'm not doing it. All right. Season one is a special season, and that's why it's special. But I am probably going to do anywhere between 8 to 10 characters, and I'm going to put out a raffle of voting on which characters you want to see from season 2 on the cover of Chat and Draw Volume 2 art book. And I've done some pretty ridiculous characters. I mean, this book is going to have a variety of characters, teddy bears, cosplayers, all types of good stuff. But I'm definitely going to put my vote down to get this man on there. All right, I'm putting my vote. I got to get that man. I mean, as long as I got permission from y'all to put him on that cover.
Oh yeah,
do that thing. Yeah, absolutely. So y'all pull this off? Did you do one every episode and then you redrew them, or did you just like cut and paste onto the thing and then gave it a background?
The smart thing to do would have been drawing them all once a week and then just keeping it all that way. But we didn't think about it, thinking up until the middle of the season. So I was just drawing all types of stuff, 3-point perspective, bird's eye view, all types of crazy stuff. And then we got to the last episode and I was like, oh shit, 27 characters. All right, let me go back to the art and see which ones I can keep. And there was 7 of them that still worked for the pose for what I had. And so I redrew the other 20 on the poster again, set it up, inked it live, and then sent it to V to color it. So, and then I appreciate it. Thank you. And then I started to do it that way this season. And I was like, all right, I'm gonna get my layout done now, and I'm just gonna fit the characters in as I go. And after about 5 weeks of that, I was like, man, it don't got the same energy. I'm not bringing the same energy I was on everybody's pieces, so I'm just gonna have to do it back to season 1 and do it the way we did it. Like, it's all good practice, and I think it's helping me get to be a better artist. So I'm down for it.
Absolutely, man, you doing wonderful.
Mm-hmm. It's great, man.
Thank you, guys. So Milton, did you get to say your social media?
Yeah.
All right, awesome. Make sure you give these guys a follow. Check out that book. I'm gonna hit you with the. Here it go. Where it go? Yep. Here are the links where you can buy their books. Be sure to go check them out there. I am even going to do you one better, and I'm going to toss it in the comments because I'm that nice of a guy for you.
So nice.
So this will pop up on Twitch, and this will pop up on the Facebook page. There is the first link. And let me grab the second one for you all. Check out this book, man. This book is good. It is good. Now I got a free copy. And I'm about to go buy it. So that should tell you something. I've already read it, but I still want to add it to my collection. So if that don't speak for it, I don't know what does. But
appreciate you.
These guys make comic books, and so do I. I am the publisher of Short Fuse Media Group. Hit up our website, shortfusemediagroup.com, where you order the physical copy of the book. You get the digital copy of that book for free. We got about 25 different comic books you can check out. Namely, my flagship title, Hot Shot, is one of those books, 10 issues in. Be sure to go peruse and see if you see something that you like that you might want to check out or whatnot. You can give me a follow on all social media as Most Epic Art. That is TikTok, Twitch, Instagram, Twitter, and for whatever reason, I got to ask Facebook for permission to change my Facebook page name. But whenever they give me that permission to do that, it will be Most Epic Art on Facebook as well. So go ahead and give me a follow because I'm doing cool stuff like this all of the time. I love bringing these guests on. I hope you guys had a good time. I want to thank you for coming on.
Yeah, appreciate it. We had a great time, man.
And it was awesome. It was wonderful.
You guys made it super easy for me. You guys did all the talking, and I could just focus on all the drawing.
We're long-winded like that.
Yeah.
All right. So Monday, I'll have Travis Gibbs on the show with me, so be sure to check that out. My Patreon followers, I will be drawing this weekend live your 2 Patreon posts. It is Claire Redfield from Resident Evil 2 and Katara from Avatar: The Last Airbender. So those are going to be very fun for me to dig into, and hope I can deliver on them or whatnot. But thank you for tuning in, everybody, tonight. Thank you so much. Support these people because they're awesome. Later.
Peace.